နေ့ကမနတ်စာဆောင်ရောစာတုစာရုစပ္ပတဆောင်ရောဆိုတာ
Yesterday, Sayadaw-ji mentioned Manasa Samvaro Sadhu, Sadhu Sabata Samvaro. Restraint by means of the mind is good. In fact, restraint in all physical and verbal, mental activities is good. The eye, there should be restraint with the eye, restraint with the ear, restraint by means of the nose, the tongue, the body. In all these moments, there should be restraint. And if not, then the mind will just be looking at what it likes. So if it will be just looking at what it likes, listening to what it likes, smelling what it likes, tasting what it likes, touching what it likes, saying what it likes, and thinking what it likes. The mind which has no control is wild, and therefore all that will be happening will be kilesas. When the mind encounters an object that is enticing, that can arouse lust, then lobha will arise, desire, wanting. And at first it will start out small, but then it will grow into the transgressive form. Without any control, when the mind encounters something to be angry about, there will be anger, there will be resentment, there will be hatred, and this will lead to cruelty and to transgressions. In the world, this is what is happening. And not seeing that there's a need for control, just letting one's mind go about freely, not knowing, this is stupidity. And transgressions also occur because of stupidity. So this is what is happening in the world. If the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, the mind are not controlled, this is what will happen. And the world is as though it is boiling with kilesas. Yesterday, Sayadaw-ji started to speak about how to control the mind. He started to speak about kayanupasi viharati, the basis of satipatthana. And in this, there's the word kayanupasi, anupasi. And if we take out the long I at the end, we can turn this word into anupasana, which is what Sayadaw-ji mentioned yesterday. Anupasana means repeatedly observing, repeatedly knowing and knowing, not just once, but one time after another, after another, after another. What is it that should be observed? There are four kinds of things, four kinds of objects. Kaya, which is the physical phenomena, Vedana, feeling, good or bad, Chitta, the mind, and Dhammas, natural phenomena. Kaya is the easiest of all these four, so this is where we start. And Kaya means collection. So it's the collection, group of physicality, group of matter. There's softness and hardness. This is Patavi Kaya, the earth element, collection of earth element. And there's stickiness, flowing, solidity. This is Apo Kaya, the collection of water. There's heat, warmth, coolness, lightness. This is the element of temperature, the all grouped together. and there's stiffness, tension, supporting, and so on. This is vayo kaya, the air element. So there's also other forms of physicality are things which we see, visible forms, sounds, smells, and so on. But these are also rupa, these are also kaya. But among all the types of kaya that there are, the four great elements are the most obvious. Earth, water, temperature, and air. And among these four, vayo dhatu, or the element of temperature of air, or the combined air element, vayo kaya, is what is most obvious. This element of vayo has the nature of stiffness, for example, and it's made up of many little particles. Many little particles of stiffness come together to make a big collection of stiffness. This is why it's called kaya. Hardness, too, is like this. Many small particles come together to make something that we can feel as hard. Softness is also kaya. And then there's heaviness, flowing, cohesion, heat, coolness, lightness, stiffness, tension, movement, vibration. These are all rupa in combination. So rupa, or matter, is flowing like a stream. It's not something continuous. It's occurring one after another, after another. And this is called anicca. Anicca means Dhamma, which is impermanent. It falls apart. It is destroyed. It dies. And anything that dies or is destroyed cannot be put on the list of good things. So therefore it's called dukkha. That means that it is suffering. And this dukkha is also rupa, matter. There is no atta, no self, that controls this rupa. There's no self that is always alive within this atta. There's no jiva atta, no individual soul. Rupa, or matter, arises due to causes. There's no creator that makes it. There's no parama-atta, no supreme being. It's just process. It's just natural phenomena that occur due to causes. So of the four types of things that we observe, there's kaya, this rupa, or matter, occurs due to four causes. It can occur due to karma, or kamma. It occurs also due to the mind, citta. And it occurs due to uru, the conditions of weather such as heat and cold. And it also arises due to ahara, or nutrition. So due to these four causes, matter, or rupa, arises. And each type of matter occurs according to its own cause. So in order to know the causes, to see how it is that this rupa arises, we observe it. And we come to see, we come to know that there's no creator making this rupa happen. It's just natural phenomena occurring without any self, without anyone controlling it. And we also come to see that this rupa is not pleasant. It's not something that is pleasing. Rupa, or kaya, is like a person with four names. This kaya is anicca. It's impermanent, so we call it anicca. It's also not good, so it's called dukkha. It also is not within any control of us or of another being, a supreme being. It's anatta. It's called anatta because there's nothing controlling it. And it's also not elegant, not suitable. So it's called athubha. So the reason why we observe kaya is so that these qualities can become apparent in our minds, so that we can come to know these four qualities: anicca, dukkha, anatta, and athubha. So for these qualities, these characteristics to become apparent, we have to observe repeatedly when any type of kaya arises, when anything physical arises. We have to observe it repeatedly. And this is anupassana, repeated observation, repeated knowing and knowing. How do we observe it? We observe the arising kaya as kaya. We observe the arising hardness as hardness. We observe softness as softness, roughness as roughness, moisture as moisture, solidity as solid, heaviness as heavy, warmth as warmth, coldness as cold. We observe lightness as lightness, stiffness as stiffness, tension as tension, movement as movement. But at first, we can't separate out these qualities. They're not apparent yet. So we have to apply names when we observe the physical. So we label what we observe according to how it appears to us. And yesterday Sayadaw started to speak about this, and today he will continue. Kaya means a group of matter, a group of physicality, a group of rupa. And among rupa, there's the earth, collection of earth. There's water, all combined together. There's the element of temperature, also manifesting as heat, cold, lightness. And there's also stiffness, movement, tension. That is the air element, or air in a group. So of these four types, it's the earth element that is most apparent. This is like a foundation. It's the hardness that is the base for the things in our body. And in the body, there's 32 parts. And of these, 20 of these parts, the earth element is what is prominent. The earth element is what is extreme, or there in the most part. For example, there's hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, teeth, and skin. And so on. There's 20 parts. I can't recite them all, but things like the lungs, the brains, undigested food, digested food, the small intestine, the large intestine, the bones, the teeth, the sinews, the muscles. All these parts of the body have earth as the most obvious part of them. They contain other things too, but earth is what is prominent among those 20. And those 20 parts are known as the parts having patavi, or earth. So among these 20 body parts, in which the earth element is prominent. And just take the first 5. The hair on the head. If we touch it, we can feel that it is hard. And the hair on the body too. Or the nails, fingernails, toenails. These are hard. And also the teeth. So these are the earth element manifesting as hardness. In these, the earth element is obvious. And the skin is the soft type of earth element. So that it's easy for us to understand these parts, we use names. We call them hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, teeth, skin. But their nature is simply the nature of hardness or the nature of softness. And these are physical true nature, this softness and hardness. Of the 32 parts in the body, there are 12 that are basically water. And these include bile and lymph and mucus, pus, blood, sweat. When we're tired, when we're working and sweat, we start to sweat. The sweat flows. So these all have the characteristic of the water element because they flow. And then there's fat. Fat is water element, but it's in its cohesive form. It's a solid form. Tears, they flow too. And then there's oil, like on the face. When you don't wash your face and then you touch your face, your hand feels oily. So that is also basically water element. And then there's spit and snot. And there's also like a lubrication oil in the joints. When we don't have enough of this lubrication sort of oil in our joints, then when we move, we hear a clicking sound. Just like a car. When the engine of a car doesn't have enough oil, you can hear it clicking. And then there's urine. So all these 12 parts are mainly water, and they have the characteristics of being flowing or being cohesive or sticky. Therefore, in the body, there are 32 parts that are obvious, with some 20 being mainly earth element, and then these last 12 being mainly water element or apodhatu, that is a combination water all collected. Tantapana, net dahana, net pasaka, zirana. Okay, there are 4 kinds of temperature element in the body, or tejo dhatu. And one is called kamaja tejo. That is the heat that is present from the moment of conception, when the sperm and the ovary combine. And as the body slowly gets larger and larger, it's either hot or cold, and this is called santapana tejo. When we have a fever, if we have a lot of this heat in the body, as when we have a fever, this is called dahat tejo. This is the element of temperature that burns us. And then there's also the digestive heat in the stomach called pasaka tejo. So these 4 kinds of tejo dhatu, or the element of temperature, combine together with the 20 parts that are prominently earth. And then there's 6 forms of air within the body. And one is the air that is within our stomach, kotasya vayodhatu. There's air that travels upward, air that travels downward, and there's the air that travels throughout our limbs. For example, when we bend or stretch, this is called Enganuminga Sari Vayodhatu. Air traveling upwards, for example, belching, air traveling downwards, for example, when we pass gas. And then there's the in-breath and the out-breath. So altogether there's 6 types of air in the body. And these combine also with the 20 kinds of earth element. So altogether in the body, there are 32 parts that are either predominantly earth, or predominantly water. Then there are 4 that are temperature related, hot and cold, and then there are 6 that are vayo dhatu, or air element. So this makes up, in our body, 42 parts. These 42 parts, made up of patavi, earth element, tejo, temperature element, apo, the element of water, vayo, the element of air, are called kaya because they occur in combination. They always occur in a group. And of this rupa kaya, or collection of matter, group of matter, there's some that occur due to kama, some occur due to the mind, chitta, some occur due to the external conditions of weather, and some occur due to ahara, or nutrition. So there are 4 causes, 4 factors involved that cause matter to arise. Matter, or rupa, that is created by kama is very subtle. It's very refined. What is obvious is the matter, or rupa, that is created by the mind. And that which is the matter which is created by temperature, and matter which is created by nutrition. So in the practice, we start by observing what is obvious. We give priority to observing the obvious phenomena. For example, the abdomen rises and falls. And to know the stiffness, tension, movement of the air element, to know this natural, true nature, then we note, we observe at the very moment of rising, and we apply the label rising. And at the moment of falling, there's relaxation, the abdomen goes down, and to know the true nature that happens at that moment, we observe at the very moment the abdomen starts to fall back down again. And we use a label, falling. When we do this enough times, when we note rising, falling, a lot of times, then we come to know the true nature that is there. We know that, we come to see that in the rising there's just this stiffness, tension, movement, vibration. In the falling there's just this relaxation, the gradual shifting down. So we look, and therefore we see. And when we look, we have to look at exactly when the rising happens, when the falling happens, in order to see the nature of the phenomena. So we come to see that there's this stiffness or tension that occurs, and then we see it doesn't just stay that way. The stiffness, tension occurs, and then it goes away. And the relaxation, movement of the falling, it's there, and then it goes away. This is anicca. This is anicca. Something that is born and then dies immediately is not good. It is dukkha. And no one is making it rise and fall. It's happening because the air comes in. The air goes in to the abdomen, and therefore the abdomen rises. So there's no creator making the rising or the falling occur. It happens in connection with the in-breath and the out-breath. It has its own cause. Where does the in-breath and the out-breath come from? It comes from the intention to breathe. The intention to breathe in, the intention to breathe out. Why does that happen? It happens because of the uncomfortable feeling. If there's, because of the discomfort of not having any air in the lungs, there's the intention to breathe in. And because of the breathing in, the rising occurs. And the abdomen fills up with air. If we don't breathe out, it's uncomfortable. Because of that discomfort, the intention to exhale, to breathe out occurs. The air goes out and the abdomen falls back down. So the stiffness, tension, movement, and so on that we observe when the abdomen rises and falls happens in connection with the in and the out breath. It is not without a cause. It has a cause. And this in-breath and out-breath occurs because of the intention to breathe in and out. So these things that we are watching do not happen without a cause. It's obvious that they happen due to a cause. As Sayadaw said before, in one's body there is Patavi, Tejo, Vayu, Apo, earth, temperature, air, water. To know these things that are really there, repeated observation at the moment of rising, repeated observation at the moment of falling is beneficial. We should be able to reflect like this. And knowing that this task is beneficial, we search for a method. This ability to reflect on whether something is beneficial or not is called Sattaka Sampajanya. Whenever there's a task that appears for us that we have to do, we should have the ability to reflect, is this beneficial or is it unbeneficial? Is it suitable or not? So if we can reflect like this, then we can see that this is a suitable task to undertake, to do research on our own self, to come to know what is really there. And if one has reflected like this and knows that this task is a beneficial one, then one will put the method into practice. One will apply the method for researching with effort, not sluggishly. And when one applies energy, when energy arises, is built, then the components, the parts of anupasana, repeated observation, repeated knowing and knowing, become evident. And this is something Sayadaw will speak about tomorrow. That's all for today. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.